It would be more than remiss for me not to bring up today's tragedy. E.O.H, who was kind enough to not only give his music to me and many other gamers, including Call of Duty trick shot gamers, but really give his music to the whole YouTube community, commentary community, and beyond, and improve their content very selflessly. E.O.H passed away at the age of 34 in Baltimore, Maryland, and I wanted to give my sincere condolences to his family and my thanks on behalf of not just Shot from the Point, but I think a lot of people that enjoyed his content. And as long as his estate sees fit, I would be happy, if not proud, to continue his music on this channel for as long as they do see fit. Thank you very much, and we're gonna roll it.
Okay, here we go. Freestyle Friday number 9. Now, before you jump the gun on anything, this is supposed to be like a house party type song like 2004, so sing along when you can. That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me just let me That clock keeps ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the most badass YouTube broadcast in all the land. I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys. It's been waking up and getting that news is the worst. And the topic today that we're going to be covering is a bit serious. I'm not going to say there's no laughs. I'm not going to say I'm not going to take any calls. But I'm still Dr. Tommy C. I got to change that. That's from yesterday.
This is not Love Bones, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. But I think we're going to talk about serial covers. So I think this is going to happen every so often. I'm not feeling all that giddy. And we have VWQ, or the V-Man himself here, to basically go over his video. And he completed essentially a trilogy about the Zaptie situation. Was told by one of the members of Hot Wet Soup that he was on the wrong track. And at least, according to Zaptie, if you want to take his word for it, he seems to be on the right track all along. Some excellent videos. We're going to go over his final video and hopefully put this whole thing to bed. We also have the very beautiful and lovely and thoughtful Aeon.
Jesus, you had to yell that?
Yes, to wake you up.
Turning to
Look
Dave
like you're
right
falling
there,
asleep
man.
back there.
I don't fall asleep.
Yeah, I expect that cat to jump on your shoulder any minute.
I actually am. That cat is my cat's like trying to get on my lap. It's annoying
Walk in
me.
your key. I hate when they walk on your keyboard. I think
No, she's just like trying to climb on me, and I have like wires on my lap right
I'll
now.
euthanize
so...
her. Stop complaining about it and get her home. All right. I don't know. I'm not in a jokey mood. I'm not in a terribly jokey mood for a lot of reasons. But I do want to go over V's incredible video. He's been on this pretty much this case from the beginning. He watched some of ImAllexx's Twitch stream, which I think is important and adds a lot to this. And we're going to go over this together because I have some criticisms and I also have some praise of VWQ, the way he's handled this situation, which I think is probably better than the way I did. But in fairness to me, I do a whole different thing. So let's get it up there. If you guys would check your Skype monitors, we'll be going right into it. And I'll be stopping and starting it as I see fit. It's called Zaptie. The conclusion. Not a sociopath after Zaptie's recent twit longer on Twitter.
To me, it looks like a manifestation of Zaptie's depression. Zaptie has shown countless signs of depression in the past, and exposing himself in this way could be his sort of cry for help. My personal favourite theory, and this is quite intricate, that this just could be Zaptie's way of self-harming. If he is depressed, he's self-harming his own image. This whole thing could be a cover-up for something else. Information that we don't know yet.
I am fed up. I'm really, really, really unhappy with him and what he's continued to do.
This is the most important part of the video, and you really didn't need to say anything else at all. You're faced with two people that are rightfully skeptical of Zaptie. And we also are faced with the most vocal person, the person that was most convinced of this narrative of sociopathy. An 18-year-old boy that uploads videos on YouTube, making comments about serious personality disorders, holding on. And in your opinion, you watched more of this stream than I did. Did he double down on this narrative? Because why would he even be aggravated if he was confident with his own beliefs?
It really seemed like he was exactly as you said, doubling down on the whole thing, and really sort of the whole stream sort of felt like he was on the defensive, kind of thing, and people were obviously grilling him a little bit about it, and I don't know. Yeah, he feels like he's getting a lot of flack over the whole thing.
Mm. Does he? Is he? It does. I mean, the name of the stream was am I paraphrasing? I only stream when I feel alone.
Yeah, well, that is an insensitive name to call the stream, but I do have to say in his defense that quite a few of his streams have that exact same name. But
okay. So I mean, even worse. I mean, to me, that title alone seemed like a massive, blatant victim card.
It did. He shouldn't really use that title, but as I say, he has used that exact same title before. So
okay.
Give him a little bit of leeway maybe on that one.
I'll give him even more slack. I always forget to change my Twitch. When I do podcasts on Twitch, I tend to forget what I had up there, and it might say TF2 when I'm playing Rocket League, so I must have to give it back. But I think that's what bothered me the most when I heard about the stream was the name of it, and I'll be honest with you, it made me angry. Like how dare you? Because my criticism about him in the podcast was you were making this about yourself. The other two members of Hot Wet Soup cautiously said good luck, which is understandable because we don't know if Zaptie's telling the truth now. Maybe he adopted your narrative, V. That's not impossible here. I think it's extremely unlikely, and because it's just their narrative just made little or no sense. It was jumbled. It was all over the place. But we do know that. That Zap is not terribly trustworthy in certain areas. But again, in my opinion, this is the evidence right here, making this about himself. It's repulsive, and he's wondering why he's taking criticism for this. It's bizarre. But I really want to get to more of your video because you did such a great job. Welcome to It's Not a Sociopath Show. Were you giving away fucking toasters? You giving away toasters? I'm sorry, I can't help it.
Well, here we go again. Now, I didn't really want to make a third video on this topic because I don't want to be seen as someone who is capitalising on this issue. And also,
you're not getting that many hits. Stop apologizing.
I want to show that I am capable of speaking about different topics. As far as I was concerned, this whole ordeal was dead and buried after my last video. And I didn't expect this issue to escalate any further. I don't think anyone expected Zaptie to come back this soon. But he has, and a lot of people have asked me to make this video. And by putting myself on the front lines of this whole ordeal, initially, I kind of signed myself up for this. And as it turns out, a lot of the things I theorised came to fruition. In this video I want to try and explain how I came to these conclusions, why I believe Zaptie's latest claims to be true, be open and reflect on my own experiences with mental health issues.
I'm hearing that Alex is in the chat. He's going to have to wait until we're done with the show, and I'd be happy to put him on, so stand by.
To back up why this all makes sense, and conclude with some suggestions on how we move forward from this situation. As always, inviting you to share your views on the whole thing. But before we do all that, I do want to defend ImAllexx, because he's getting a lot of shit thrown his way, and a lot of things need to be clarified.
That is one thing I really liked about your video that pointed out that you were able to be critical and this is something I can't do, without just burying Alex for entertainment's sake. You were able just to criticize him and actually be fair. And I compliment you on that. I think the audience will see that clearly.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Alex has and continues to handle this situation poorly. Now that's a pretty strange way to start off a defense of someone, but hear me out. I theorised before that this could be a tactile backstab, or it could be down to carelessness. But let's consider a third option, that Alex is naive. He is a kid and he's been thrown into a world where a lot of his friends are a lot older. He's been told directly by Zaptie that he is a sociopath, and in his naivety, why wouldn't he believe it? Also consider that he could have been influenced by his friends. When you're a teenager, peer pressure affects you much more than it does in adulthood. And if all of this is true, an immature and emotional response could very well be triggered. Whilst I don't want to condescend or undermine the lad in any way, in this community it's easy to judge someone based on their subscriber count and not their person. And I think it's important that we don't hold them to the same expectations that we would for someone, say, in their mid-20s. It's not quite fair to do that.
I agree with you. I agree with you absolutely completely. One of the problems that I had when I was Alex's age is the ability to say I screwed up, and say it in such a way. It was always like, yeah, I screwed up, but. And I think that is something that you learn and don't even get down till you're about 30. It pops in around 24. You do it usually when you're cornered, and then you realize that is the better route and the route where you can learn. I'm hearing that he's 17, even better. But Alex is a public figure. He is a internet sensation, as the shirt says. And for a guy that kind of criticizes people, basically for pretty good money, he's open to this criticism. But I don't think. I mean, if I was 17 or 18, I would take this criticism really personally. But it's not. It's just about growing up. It's the thing that's the most forgivable. The thing that's the least forgivable is, I think, doubling and tripling down on personality disorders.
Basically, just him being stubborn.
Yeah, it just does.
His biggest fallout.
And I was the same way. I was absolutely, positively the same way at his age.
I think all kids were just really fucking stubborn when it came to like what they think is like what's normal, or like how they should react, and then they're being told no, that's not
because
what
you always have to pretend.
Every kid does that.
Yeah, it's true. You always got to pretend as a teenager that you already know something because you sort of look like an adult, but you have no adult experience. It's like expecting to understand. Like, could you imagine how many brain surgeons show up at the first day of brain surgery school and act like they know what the fuck they're doing? I'm sure those guys are out pretty quick, but there's something about being a teenager where you have to pretend and you have to hold on to that. And I think that is forgivable. The question then becomes, should this guy be judging other people on YouTube? Which is a whole different story. Do you have anything comments to that, VW? I think you did an excellent job. I mean, that was probably the most fair thing you did.
Wow. Yeah. Well, no, I was exactly the same. In my late teens, I thought I knew everything. I'm in my 20s now, and I realised I was stupid then, and I think I know everything now. And when I'm 30, I look back and think I'm stupid now, and think I know everything. Yeah. So everyone reflects on these sort of times, don't they, when they're a little bit older?
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, I think it is. It's just something you do. It's just something you do. Yeah. Somebody wrote PhD Tommy C. No, I'm not doing it from a doctor standpoint. I'm doing it from a standpoint is that I did stupid stuff. And actually going that route and saying, "Oh, I don't do anything stupid," is proving my point. You know, let's see what else did.
I think Alex realised that he fucked up, but isn't mentally in a position where he can correct those mistakes. And the only other options are to keep quiet or to go in and commit further to his viewpoint. I'd like to, however, play devil's advocate and give Alex some advice going forward, but let's look at the latest claims from Zaptie first. I want to share something personal about why I made the first Zaptie video. I spent the majority of my teenage years depressed, and I saw things in Zaptie that reminded me of my own experiences. It all sounds a bit convenient, but I spent a portion of that time convinced that I was a sociopath.
Well, here's the thing. We have different stories. This is what dropped when I first started hearing sociopath being thrown around. I'm familiar with this case where a lot of cases where people read medical books and they get obsessed with this particular topic of sociopathy. People that are depressed that run into this stuff tend to link themselves to this stuff. And I was misdiagnosed with it myself. And I think it's funny. It was kind of daring of you to bring your personal issues up, because that is the first thing that made me snap in this situation, feel that I needed to speak out on it, because I know, first of all, there's no blood test for this. It's a subjective opinion of a trained professional, and that's it. They don't call it sociopathy. They call it antisocial personality disorder, and it doesn't go like this. It doesn't particularly work like this. There is tests out there. There are, from what I understand, they are doing studies on brainwaves and stuff like that, but there is nothing concrete. And for him to say I have been diagnosed with this, it just doesn't make any sense. And not to mention, something I forgot to mention, when normally what psychiatrists do now, when they diagnose people with this, they get rid of them because there's no way to treat them. The only treatment, by all studies, leads to more horrible behavior. And this is why this just didn't make any sense to me right away. And you didn't make any sense to you because apparently this happened to you. You became sort of self-destructive. And do you want to elaborate on your experience?
Yeah, no, I mean, throughout my mid to late teenage years, I was like sort of severely depressed. Like, had one suicide attempt. I was hospitalized for a little while, and sort of during that time, as you said, I read into like sociopathy and what it means to be a sociopath, and I saw all these symptoms that I thought, hey, maybe that's me, and I convinced myself that maybe I'm a sociopath because some of the things line up here. Yeah. And I told other people that I was a sociopath, not necessarily to push people away, but sort of as a cry for help. Mm-hmm. And I think I don't think that's completely dissimilar to what Zaptie went through.
Thank you for the donation, Shadow Humor. I wonder myself because there's a lot of talk of emptiness or lack of feeling, and there's nothing more numbing than entering the realms of depression. So you could read something like this and do this, and I think that's the thing that I was reading right away. This is an out-of-control defense mechanism. And even according to Zaptie, it's lie after lie after lie after lie after lie, and it just the cards fell. And when the cards started to fall, what did he do? He stacked another lie on top of it that just did much more damage, unnecessary damage. Here we go.
This is just one of the lies I told myself and I told other people during this stage of my life because I was desperate for help. When you're really desperate and your life is in danger, you will do anything and say anything just to cope. I was never a sociopath. It was just my way of dealing with a lot of the shit I was going through. It was my way of rationalising the feelings that I was experiencing. Now, this might not be the exact same reason as to why Zaptie claimed he was a sociopath, but pushing people away is something that depressed people do. I did it when I was depressed, and there are other people watching this video right now who can completely relate. If you hate yourself, it also means that you don't feel like you deserve the people around you. When I spoke to someone directly affected by Zaptie's actions, they told me all the things that he had done and shared with me some of the conversations they'd had. It's not my place to say, it's nobody's place to say, these are private issues. But at the end of the conversation I had with this person, even though they'd spent the last hour trying to convince me that Zaptie is a sociopath, I left even more convinced that these were all signs of depression.
I had a similar experience. I heard about apparently there was a call with a bunch of commentators, and I was privy to some of that information. And people were asking Zaptie if he had ever manipulated them, and he responded with immediately yes, that he had. And when asked to give evidence of that situation, he responded with, I don't know, I don't remember. That, to me, should have been game, set, match. This guy doesn't need to be in a Skype call. He needs to get help. This is not a question of sociopathy. This is somebody who's just, his brain is sprinting out of control. And I don't expect somebody, I don't expect, young guys in college to really pick up on that. And that's exactly how I felt when I heard about this. It's like, yeah, well, I guess that makes him a sociopath. No, I think that gives him quite a problem here, quite a problem, and I don't know if we should be speculating or even taking. I mean, you told me, that was the thing about Hot Set Wet Soup. The whole thing is he's lying. Well, why couldn't he be lying about sociopathy?
And maybe like when he was telling Alex that he was a sociopath, maybe at the time he didn't realize how depressed he was, and that was kind of like what V did, where he just used that as like, this must be why I feel like shit. This must be why this is what I'm feeling. I must be a sociopath.
Yeah, I guess if you.
And then he used it to push away his friends.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, where I didn't get that feeling from Elvis and Bionic Pig. The way that he carried down, sometimes carried on in that podcast episode, sometimes incoherently. I felt like he was the leader of that podcast. I felt that he was trying to be sort of important. That this was sort of fun and exciting and dramatic. And we're kind of forgetting all the other things that are going on. And when I was really, really disappointed with him, they had mentioned that he was talking to underage girls. But the podcast has this realm of, we're not trying to hurt, we're trying to help him. So when the so-called hard evidence comes out that he did have inappropriate contact, not illegal, it doesn't turn out, inappropriate contact with a girl under the age of 18, it was like, now we must separate. Now I can't. What was Alex's tweet exactly, V? It was something to the effect of, I can't support a friend under these circumstances.
I can't. I might have to paraphrase it if I can't find it.
Sure, go ahead, paraphrase it.
I'll paraphrase it. It's something like, I refuse to be friends with someone who is involved with underage girls.
Even though he knew they were having, prior to this, they knew they were having. He didn't know the particulars, according to him, which I don't believe. But let's pretend that's the truth. I don't believe any of them didn't know. He didn't know the particulars, but he knew that he had like inappropriate sort of girlfriend, boyfriend stuff. What the fuck do you think was going on? Was it dick pics? And that's another problem I had. It's his self-righteousness. It's something that I think he has doubled down on, and the other two guys are pulling back on. Another thing is, I want to make clear, I don't think anybody should have to be friends with Zaptie or support Zaptie. I mean, if he fucked you over, I get it. But, I mean, really, my criticism is the way this has been handled and how people have just doubled and tripled down on this stuff.
And that the term sociopath was being used as a cover-up. Believe me when I say, in both private and public, Zaptie did a pretty poor job of impersonating a sociopath. To summarise this section of the video, I would like to come forward and say that the latest story that has been told by Zaptie, from my own experiences and knowledge, checks out. It could be another lie. I mean, who knows at this point, right? But
we could always go the Alex Jones route. And that's what I think it is. Well, he was lying before. Yeah, I'm sorry. The fact that when he was cornered and said he was a sociopath just doesn't. The odds of it being that the case is just not the case. It's just the odds are overwhelming. I suppose he could.
Yeah. Be. If this is a lie, this is the only believable.
If he does it again without conscience and keeps doing this because he would have no reason to feel sorry whatsoever, I would have to probably apologize. But I think the odds of that are pretty slim.
All of the narratives told so far, this one makes the most sense by a landslide. Let's forget about the Hot Wet Soup episode and the initial burst of tweets. That's in the past now, and we already know that they were handled poorly. But a noteworthy difference between Elvis the Alien and Bionic Pig compared to a lot of the other people involved in this issue is that the others seem to be playing the victim. I can only commend Elvis and Pig for their recent professional behaviour in what is essentially...
And I have to add to this, Elvis told me that he didn't handle this very well. So, I mean, there was some responsibility taken. At least on Elvis, and I think by Bionic Pig reaching out. I think.
Yeah, I honestly think my interpretation of it was I feel like Elvis and Bionic Pig kind of reacted without thinking all the way through.
Yeah, and I think that's why we're full on
Originally.
Axis. We had two guys that maybe overreacted because of friends and worrying about their channel and accusations of pedophilia. Yeah. Okay, fine, I could have done that. But Alex is really still out there because he seems to have doubled, tripled down, and even pulled the victim card.
A professional dispute, making a self-indulgent stream entitled "I only stream when I feel alone" with another teenage friend complaining about how you've been wronged. I think we all know that that's not a professional response, and a response that's
it's a teenage response.
Quite frankly, reflected quite poorly on ImAllexx. You see, if you fuck up, you kind of have to let it go. You can't really afford to be stubborn in a situation like this because there's no way of digging out of a hole. Best case scenario, you own up to your mistakes and you move on. Failing that, you give a professional response and keep quiet. As a professional and as someone with a huge influence, you have to separate your emotions. You shouldn't use your influential platform to gratify your emotions, because people will see right through it, and if they don't, then who are the ones really being manipulated?
And you look ridiculous with an internet sensation t-shirt on after a while. It's not an ironic joke.
Since his twit longer, Zaptie has also been viewed as a victim of his own mental illness. The story seems to be taking one side or the other. Is Zaptie a victim or is Alex a victim? Well, how about this? Maybe the answer is neither. The people who are being forgotten as this story progresses are the young girls who are unknowingly thrust into this situation. The girls who have kept quiet. They don't want attention or publicity. They're not smug and they're not putting themselves out there to fight anything because they're embarrassed. They're ashamed. They want this to be over so they can move on with their lives. Consider that they might be the true victims in all of this.
I have to commend you on this because this is something that I lost sight of on my broadcast about this, and I had to be reminded by somebody in the chat. Very good on you. I'm thinking about people. This is bigger than just like a YouTube drama issue, and I think the only thing I could defend people that don't bring them up is maybe because they don't want to be brought up, and this is really the criticism of a handling of a situation and a poor podcast, but. Good, excellent job thinking about people other than other than hits. I don't think anybody can criticize you for being just selfless in the situation. So that's really well done. I just wanted to point that out before we went further.
I think 99% of the people who know about this whole thing just want it to be over, whether you're directly involved or just an onlooker. So how do we move on amicably? Well, Alex needs to follow in the footsteps of his more mature friends, wish Zaptie the best publicly, and then in private, he could do whatever the hell he likes as long as it doesn't surface. And if he does this, people will stop giving him a hard time. Zaptie needs to keep making videos. This is in the best interest of everyone. In terms of content quality, we need more Zapties to compensate for all the pro-gamer J's, the lispy Jimmys, the Morgses. It's also healthy for Zaptie to have a focus and be productive for the sake of his own mental stability. Although, I think it will probably be difficult for him now to provide a credible voice on moral issues. So maybe film or game reviews are the way forward for him.
And I think you hit it right on the head. And I think that's, if you want to see the rest of VWQ's video, you can check his channel in the description box alone. I highly recommend all three videos in the Zaptie. It is some of the best commentating I've seen, hands down. I mean that, and I know Colossal is crazy. So it's a difficult situation to even do because you're always going to be criticizing of cashing in on something like this, and I think you did this as delicately as possible, as thoughtful as possible, and I think you're a lot like I see a lot of your feelings. I want to say like me and you, but it's really you have feelings. This is very similar feelings that I have. I'm a huge fan of Zaptie, and I never wanted to be blinded by the fact that I was such a big fan that I would excuse horrible behavior, which I think hopefully we both have. But I spent the last part of my 10 years in the Army. When you fuck up, you knock the guy down, you punish him, and you pick him up. And I didn't see that happening here. I saw that, and I didn't see what he did as being so unforgivable as of something like rape, murder, cheating somebody out of serious money that affects them. I didn't see any of that here. And I just my frustration for not knowing Zap on that type of level where I could reach out, and I see these guys. I know Elvis is a good guy. I know Bionic Pig's a good guy. I see what they do. I just wanted to like wring their fucking necks. This is not how you handle this. There's a way to handle this where everybody wins. The victims, Zaptie's victims, Zaptie, you, Hot Wet Soup, everybody. Everybody. And the one constant that I saw interfering with that all was Alex. He was the one guy that seemed that he didn't belong, or he was not making decisions, possibly based on the fact that he's not that mature. And this is kind as I can put it, because I don't really think I should have to be kind from a very critical YouTube commentator on other YouTubers. Do you want to add to that, V?
Well, yeah, no, you're pretty much spot on. Like he's just, it didn't quite seem right. He like you said, he led the conversation about it and was coming out of all these accusations, and it always felt for a while that Bionic Pig and Elvis the Alien was sort of passively nodding along to it.
It felt that way. If it wasn't that way, it sure felt that way. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. You just sort of wish that you could have been there from the beginning and told them, guys, this is not the right way to handle
Everybody
this.
Relax. Everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. Everybody relax. Give this guy a couple days off and talk to him, and then we'll get back and straighten out. Now that being said, I was told that he did it, and and I have also been told that he has continued to lie throughout this whole thing. So let's give those guys a little bit. But I think there's too much coming back. Possibly he may have come back too soon. I do. And I want to make this abundantly clear. YouTubers' skepticism over his character is completely in place and in play. I get that. But I found, and maybe because I'm removed from the situation, that this could be fixed in the benefits for everyone. I didn't think that he'd crossed that plane yet. And I hope that's not the case. Because I like to see the guy get on back in his face. If I had to talk to Zaptie right now, I'd remove those videos. Not that you even add up to those guys on Lion Maker and Red Kiwis. Remove those videos. Do not make moral judgments on people. And Alex, you could probably throw yourself in that fucking room too. And keep on making the incredible material that you have been making. It's going to be tough considering you can't cover trending topics in a moral way. Perhaps you could do it in a comedic way. But I think that's the situation. That is the ultimate punishment, that you cannot. That is probably the greatest punishment, because that's what brings in the most revenue. To be perfectly honest with you, and hopefully that can happen. Aeon, you wanted to add something?
Yeah. Sorry, I was talking to Lord Vega about ImAllexx, and I think somebody named Deander Anthony both want to call in, but I'm trying to figure out if they want to do Skype or Discord.
No, I want to put them in on Skype. I have Alex's DMs. I'll send them in if they want to come in.
No, I'm getting like his Skype.
I want Alex in. I'm not really
Alex's
interested
Skype.
in Anthony coming in. I know. I like Anthony, but I think this is Alex's game. So if Alex wants to come in, I'm not putting two.
I have Alex's Skype. I'll add.
No. Tell it to me. I'm going to send him. I'm sending Alex my Skype right now. So he can add me and I can add him. And no, we can't review. I don't want Alex getting bombed with.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was thinking maybe I should do it, because then you can't see it on your Skype.
That's not what we're trying to do here. So everybody starts to. I mean, he's a pretty big internet star. So let's not do that to him. So I'm gonna be sending this to his in the DMs right now. He's more than welcome to come and defend himself. But I will be questioning him. And I'm gonna tell you something right now, Alex. You have a tendency to ramble. You are not going to be allowed to do that here. So have your shit together and think long and hard before you call this number, because your credibility can be taken away from you, and it might not be my fault or be viewed as my fault. That's a warning. I'm not openly out to get you, but if you screw up, I'm not going to feel bad for you. So, all right. So he said thank you to Thex, and we're going to put Alex on right now, and we'll give him an opportunity to defend himself. Anything else you wanted to say, V?
Well, yeah, not really at this point. I'm interested in what Alex has got to say, because I've not spoken to him about this whole thing. I think the advantage that we have is we get to look at this whole situation objectively from an outside perspective, because I don't know Zaptie personally. I've spoken to him a few times. But yeah, he doesn't have that same sort of advantage. So it's difficult, isn't it?
Tough. It is tough for you. I mean, I think that's a really good point. But both me and you are looking at this from outside looking in, and these guys do have, understandably, emotions tied up in this that me and you would not have.
They're invested in it in different ways.
They are invested in this. Okay, and he has said he has added me, and I'm going to check that out right now. Come on now. I really despise Skype with a bloody passion, by the way. I just want to let you all know that.
I think everyone doesn't like Skype.
Oh, God, it's noisy. Yeah. It's. Are you sure you added me? Let's see. I'll try yours. What's yours? Because I don't see it already. And then I can add you to the call. I hate doing this shit. You could have told me before because I know you knew damn well I was doing this, Alex. You could have contacted me any goddamn time. But I guess that's neither here nor there now because I'm doing my best not to reveal your information. All right. Okay. He has the funniest username ever. I just can't. And I can't even say why. All right. Here we go. Get me back. Me back. And it's sent. As soon as I get an opportunity to send him, I will add him to the call immediately. Dun 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 dun. Shit, I just exposed him, I think. Fuck.
Tommy.
Change your name, Alex. I hit
Jesus
the wrong
Christ,
fucking
Tommy.
button. Now he's online. All right. Sorry, buddy. You're gonna need a new one. Let's see if we can get him on here. Shit, I always hit. I'm so bad at that. Well, he should have moved faster. Alex, you there?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. We don't have to exchange pleasantries because you have a lot of explaining to do. And you saw what we had to say. And I do want to give you a chance to defend yourself, and I'm going to give you that chance right now.
Oh, it's not for me. It's not really about defending myself. I just because I totally understand where all you guys are coming from because that's how I went at it first. Because this is the thing that I struggle with is obviously a lot of it played out in private, a lot of it played out publicly. Privately, because you've spoken to Anthony, I know you have. Anthony had to convince me that Ed was bad.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that's important.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Because Anthony didn't convince me of shit. In fact, he convinced me of exactly the opposite. You know.
I want to talk about the depression and sociopath thing first, if that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the thing that still confuses me, and I've messaged Ed, and he hasn't replied.
Same
because here. I knew Ed was depressed.
Mm-hmm.
He told me the first day we spoke 2 months ago. And then when he got called out for cheating, I was in a private call with him, right?
Sure.
And then he told me he was a sociopath.
Yeah, sure.
And I said to him, he did say, these were his exact words. I have text messages. I think Anthony has them too if you need them. So
sure, I don't need them. I don't need them because a lot of this stuff is already public knowledge.
Yeah,
anyway.
So Ed said to me, I have antisocial personality disorder, and I stayed quiet because I didn't really know how to take that in.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went, which also means I'm a sociopath. And I Googled it, and I went, well, how do I help you if you're a sociopath? And he said, it's not curable.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, well, how do you expect to carry on? Because the thing with Ed was he always... It's really weird with him. He gave me the idea that he really wanted to fix everything, and I helped him because that's why we started.
Yeah,
talking.
but you're getting away from the criticism, Alex. The criticism is that this. I mean, I can't honestly expect you to know how to take something like that. I don't know how I'd take something like that. But what I would do is put it in the public, and especially in our commentary community, which is unbelievably critical, unbelievably forgiving. And once you put that, and you, Alex, have a great responsibility of being a public figure, as do I, as the Colossal's Crazy, as do all three of those guys in a hot wet soup. Yeah. You put this out there without knowing anything other than a dictionary definition of it. That's all that me and VWQ know.
I will tell you why we put it out there, because we kind of, the last thing we wanted to do is make it public. Issue was, number one, people were already tweeting it who knew Ed. So it was actually already public knowledge.
But here's another thing. My sources have told me that's not true, that you guys were all loaded for videos to distance yourself. and then you
No,
that's not
none
true.
of us were ever,
Are you saying
none of
that's
us
not
were-
true right now?
I will say the podcast was the only thing we discussed.
There was
Individual
never
videos.
videos made or thought of to distance yourself from
Oh
him.
fuck no! That would
Okay,
be awful.
I just want to get that. I just wanted to hear that out
because
loud.
I want it to be clear, because the thing is, obviously Elvis is on the cast. He made a video on Leafy when the whole Leafy thing went down.
I remember that.
Very bad idea. You don't
Okay.
make videos like that in your friends.
Sure.
That's
okay.
stupid,
all right. You've
really.
denied it. But I want to get because because the criticism of you, Alex, is the way you've handled it, the way you've kind of carried yourself, and then when faced with the fact that look, Zaptie's come out and said pretty much what V has been saying, that this is a cry for help. The other two guys were skeptical but accepted it. You went on Twitch and felt bad for yourself.
No, I didn't feel bad for myself.
It's a little tough to
I'm
tell
angry.
from what the little that I've seen.
Well, it's been a bad week, but it's not about that. I mean, for me, what the issue is that he's still lying in his twit longer, and he doesn't have to be. And I messaged him and said, Ed, you don't have to carry on lying.
What part was he lying about? What part in the twit longer was he lying about?
Let me get the twit longer up. The first two sentences is a lie, where he said he never said he was a sociopath. I was not happy about that because those were his exact words. Because I'm not going to, you guys...
Hold on, I want to see the twit logger too. I think he said that he said it. I don't think he said that he was.
Let's try and load it up together because that makes more sense.
Okay, that makes more sense. I agree with you there, bud.
I want to go... It's so fun. I hate Twitter so much. But I do want to say,
I need to know the lies because, I mean, that is important. I mean, his first thing is, I'm not a sociopath where I am. It said... we'll rip the Band-Aid off. I'm not a sociopath, never have been. My exact wording that I was diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder, which turned into diagnosed sociopath. There's no diagnosis, no therapist, no doctor, as admitted. I've been lying for months saying that anything I thought would make things better. What part of this is a lie?
Okay, so number one, saying that it turned into Ed's a diagnosed sociopath is not correct because those were his exact words. He went, I'm a diagnosed sociopath.
Okay.
And I thought he had a therapist because of his depression. That's what he always told me since day one of us talking.
Okay.
In real life friends of his, now I want to find the emails because I don't have the emails.
You don't have to give me the emails. All you got to do is stick to this. That's all you got to do. You got to do is stick where we're talking because he said that he lied right away.
In real life friends, his in real life friend says he does have a therapist.
Okay.
Which I find is weird.
But I want to know about the lie that's in the first part of this paragraph.
Him saying that he just said he had antisocial personality disorder. And that he never
so we're talking about a semantic word because sociopath is sort of the slang term, the same Slack word for antisocial personality disorder, right?
But
so he's not essentially lying. You really have a problem with the wording of the sentence.
He told me that his words were, "I am a sociopath."
Okay.
He also texted the main girl that he was cheating on.
Does that really change my narrative at all, or my beliefs, or my criticism at all?
No,
the fact that he told you he was a sociopath and he's lying, or maybe doesn't remember about the fact that he used the proper
I have a problem
term.
with what you said, Tommy. I haven't actually. I was angry at first, not at you, but at Ed, and I didn't really know how to take in the fact that he lied to me every single day before the podcast and after the podcast. Because I feel like it's important that people know I didn't just do that podcast to cut ties with Ed. This is why the podcast...
Yeah, I remember when you cut ties with Ed. You cut ties with Ed after you told me that if I carried on, that I would look foolish. And then shortly afterwards, about 24 hours afterwards, you showed me the so-called hardcore evidence, which was bizarre because in the podcast, you mentioned that you knew that he had inappropriate information. Only when the physical evidence came out was that enough for you to sever ties with him, which, by the way, looks like you're running away from the situation. It looks like a cheap way out.
Yeah, it's fine, but I'm not running away. I messaged him and asked him to call me, and he hasn't done it yet. So I'm really not running away. I really want it to be that me and Ed could fix this. But it's very hard because I can't tell when he's telling the truth anymore. But to do with the whole indecent images of underage girls.
Do we know that for a fact? Because I don't know if that's ever come out. I mean, we had an accusation. Do we know that for 100% fact that he's received?
It's He's committed a crime, right?
All right. Do we know that for a fact?
Yes, because it counts as soliciting, even if you. Just
Okay,
said,
no.
like,
Do we know? Do we have physical evidence that the police been turned over?
Yeah,
Hey, V, have you ever found any absolute definite proof in your covering this topic that pictures are being exchanged? Because I think Ed denies that, and it's went longer, if I'm not mistaken.
All I've got is
no,
that.
he doesn't need to.
Hang on, Alex. I'll get right back with you. I'll give you a chance to respond.
All I've got is that that one particular girl has sent photos to him. Not that he's sent anything back, and I don't know. I have it on.
Have we verified? Are these pornographic in nature? These photographs?
These are the underwear.
Alex, I'm asking
photos,
V. I'm asking V. I will give you a chance to defend yourself. I promise.
They're underwear photos and no full nude.
No full nudity. So it probably doesn't fall under American, at least in Ohio, nudity laws.
It's also worth pointing out that the same person has pictures of herself in her underwear on her Twitter.
Oh.
As well.
Changes things pretty dramatically.
I don't know if that changes anything, but
I don't know. It probably changes it. Well, I mean, for the letter of the law, it probably does. I don't know how that changes us, and I really don't know how that changes Alex's argument too much. You knew that he was having an inappropriate relationship. You said that on the thing, and the only time when the evidence came out on Twitter, that's when you cut. That's when you cut ties.
No,
Alex, what did you think that they were doing prior to that evidence coming out?
No. I didn't know the ages. I knew 4 girls who were like 18, 19, and the main girlfriend is one of my good friends, which is why I had an issue with it.
All right, okay. But she's under 18, and you knew. But you mentioned that in the podcast. You only cut ties after you got. You mentioned that in the podcast. You only cut ties after you found out that girl. I think she says her profile says North Korea. When she went ha at pedophile. That's when you cut ties.
No, because that came out after the podcast.
Yeah. But that's when you cut ties. Exactly. But I mean, what did you think that they were doing prior to that? You were aware of it when the podcast came out. What did you think? You think they were exchanging jib jabs like me and Aeon do? And Valentine's gifts and chocolates?
I didn't know they were talking until after the podcast. That was my problem.
Wait a minute. Doesn't he mention? Look, V. Doesn't he mention in the podcast that he knows about these underage girls? I'm sorry, Alex.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Alex. I'm sure you said in the podcast that you knew that he was speaking to underage girls.
I'm pretty sure we didn't know that or mention it on the cast. What I knew is that he was cheating on 4 girls. That's what I said. It was 4 girls at the time.
You said cheating, but you didn't know that they were underage on the podcast, and you didn't say that. You're saying that right now on my show.
It's important. There's more than 4. So we knew about the 4 girls who were of age, but like he had his in real life girlfriend, Sabrina, and 2 other artists in our community.
No, the only thing that's important is what you said in the podcast now, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to go back and watch it, but I don't think
because I seem to remember something different. Accordingly, I don't have it in front of me.
Why would you have to go back and watch it if you know that you didn't know the information before?
I didn't say it, but if you guys are convinced, I haven't mentioned that.
I'm not convinced because I was asking you a question. I'm not convinced. I'm asking you a question. What did you say on the podcast?
Oliver found out at the same time. Why is it on the podcast? 4 girls, maybe more, because maybe more.
Hang on, can I stop you there? I'm getting a lot of messages in, people saying that you did say in the podcast that the girls were between the age of 16 and 17.
Care what the chat has to say because I don't trust it.
Fair enough. But we're going to find out, I don't know, in 10 minutes. So you sure you don't want to walk that back?
No, I believe I didn't mention that. Okay. I only found out when Colossal found out, which was 2 days after we released the podcast. We asked him.
Does that make any sense? I mean, because, Alex, you wanted to talk to me privately so many times. I know exactly what you wanted to do, and that's exactly why I didn't do it. You wanted to tell me all the stuff that was going on behind the scenes, which I already knew, about what a bad guy Ed was, which was really irrelevant because I wasn't criticizing Ed. I was criticizing you.
I want to talk about the fact that he ran away.
That's got nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
That's what I wanted to mention. I wanted to say the reason why you shouldn't be tweeting that, Tommy, is because he's literally done a runner. And I was trying to explain, you probably shouldn't be backing him up because he won't even.
Yeah. And that's why I took it as a threat. You probably should be because you're going to look foolish later. Let me ask you something, Alex. If there's any one tweet that you regret, was it the one to me? Because I don't think I look foolish right now.
Oh yeah. Oh no, okay. You're wrong still, Tommy. Like, Ed isn't a good guy.
I didn't say he was a good guy. You're changing the subject. That's not what I said. Do you regret sending me that tweet? Because because I don't look ridiculous right now, and it didn't have the intended impact that you thought it would have. Because my first response is, if you knew this, why didn't you go to the police? If you knew that and why are you only separate? And why are you only cutting tails now? And because I'm pretty goddamn sure when I go back to that podcast, I'm going to find out you mentioned he had a relationship with underage girls and knew about it.
I knew he was speaking to him. I didn't realize he exchanged pictures.
That's a change from what you said 5 minutes ago. We knew that. So you knew they were underage on the podcast, but now you didn't know they had pictures.
Hey, let me try to explain this to the best of my ability, because I do feel like I'm just being shouted at here, Tommy. And
you are being shouted at because you're saying two different things. That's the way it kind of works.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But I mean, for me, the issue is that he spoke to all of my friends. Now, I knew that Ed was doing this because he was a really friendly guy, and that's what Ed was like. But
Ed's a bad guy. He's fucked up. He's fucked up big, Alex. But so did you. And the sooner you come to terms with that, the sooner you'll be better off. Because you know what? You just came on here and buried yourself. Exactly what I would predicted you did.
Tommy, I honestly, I have no regrets of anything that I've done.
That's the problem. That's the problem. That's the problem. And I'm only saying this. I'm only saying this to you because you're kind of fucking your shit up. You're killing it on this platform, and you're fucking putting all your chips on this particular hand, which sucks. This hand sucks. Stop putting money into it. Say you didn't handle it right. Say you don't know shit about sociopathy. Say it and move on. You don't have to be Ed's friend. You've convinced me. Ed did some rotten shit. He may be a bad guy.
The thing, honestly, I feel like everything I said on that podcast has been totally removed. Tommy, I am literally on your side. This is my issue. It's like, because of the fact that, obviously, I understand why you're skeptical. I feel like everything I've said has been twisted in the wrong direction, because the whole reason we did the podcast was that we wanted to make sure that Ed was in a position where he wasn't going to get damaged, but we also wanted to explain publicly why we couldn't gut ties, because of the fact that we want to help Ed. I sent him to the mental hospital.
Except you wanted to help Ed. That's my whole point, Alex. You wanted to help Ed until the so-called evidence came out, and then you were like, oh, you all took the moral high ground. You can't have it both ways, because if you knew about it prior, you knew damn well that it was inappropriate. The fact that the pictures, Alex, this is what you can't get through your thick head. The pictures don't make a difference. And if if they're exactly what V said, only in their underwear, they're probably not illegal. Now, are they morally wrong? Absolutely. Did he take advantage of people? Absolutely. But this is not about Ed. It's about you. You proved it. Ed's a bad guy. Guess what? You fucked this up.
No, I want to know. Okay, so can you please explain why I fucked it up?
You fucked it up by first of all, by making the podcast about yourself. By going on and on about sociopathy, by separating yourself from him only after the so-called evidence came out, when you knew that he was having an inappropriate relationship with a girl under the 16 before the evidence came out, and then continuing to double down on it. And when Zaptie actually put some information out there that actually makes a hell of a lot more sense, I'm not done, that makes a hell of a lot more sense, and you were unable to show was a lie on this program, when he puts that information out, you go on Twitch and feel sorry for yourself. And I dare anybody in this audience to objectively go on and check your screen.
Honestly, that's fine, but that's because you're going to paint it that way, Tommy. And I mean, obviously, I understand. I do totally understand where you come from, because we make videos on the same stuff. So I really do get everything you're saying. Like,
that's why I'm just telling you why you're being criticized.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I just want to.
I don't hate you, Alex. I don't hate you. I don't want anything bad to happen to you.
I know you don't. I really know you don't.
I honestly, you should just come clean. It's like, I fucked this up. I didn't know what I was doing. I wanted to help, and I didn't, and I didn't know what to do, and I was afraid it was going to affect me negatively, so I said a bunch of bullshit, and I'm never going to do it again. That's the best move, dude. That's the best.
Yeah,
it's not even.
I understand, but like, I really haven't like bullshitted. I really haven't gone out my way to lie. I really want that to be truthful. I feel like even coming out of it in the first place.
But me and you also have a truth issue prior to this too, so that's 2 now.
No, but I was right on the Keemstar beta situation.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't. You sit there and told people that you told people a completely false narrative. If I have to bring up the meme,
but
I was there. YouTuber was there too. The guy from Australia I talk to just about every morning now.
And it just I mean, I feel like that Discord was split too because 50% say
nobody. I was in that Discord. Nobody talked down to Keem, buddy, especially you. In fact, all of you walked away thinking Clown was fucking guilty party.
Oh no, I in the Discord. I gave him fair game.
Alex, I mean this sincerely. I'm gonna cut you a break. My advice to you is reach out to Ed. I've reached out to Ed. If he doesn't reach out to you, or you're afraid of him, or you think he's then that's fine. But I would do what I'm probably going to do unless it comes, because I have a different kind of show. I would apologize for. I would go on Twitter right now, apologize for the whole situation, say you handled it maturely and moved on. And I do wish you the best of luck. I do. I really do. Because you know what? You're a talented guy. You built that channel. When I met you, you had 10,000 subs. You built it all by yourself. But I tell you something, if you keep doubling down on stupid stuff, it's probably going to end. Look what happened to me when I wouldn't stop fighting with Keemstar.
Yeah, okay. I understand. I feel like we have like way more to discuss whenever you want to. I'm more than happy to come on.
I don't want to. Actually, it's over after today. I think VWQ killed it. That's and fine. I do wish you the best of luck, and I don't hate you, but I tell you something. I am in the business of criticizing commentators that can't take criticism. I won't say that you're one of them, but I don't think you're handling this right, and that's my opinion. All right, bud?
Oh, no, I really wish I'd never have to go through a situation like this again.
I hope so, I honestly, I hope so, too. All right, buddy? You take care of yourself.
All right, have a good one.
Take care, bud.
Hey, Tommy?
Right. Yeah.
Bonnet Pig wants to call in.
I gotta go to bed. I gotta close ranks. Close ranks. If they want to call in tomorrow or something like that, depending on the topical issue. But if I can show Pig this, you can look at my camera, Pig. I'm having issues with the neighbors. This is my soundproofing shit that just came in. I'm certainly not dipping out. I'd be more than happy to have you on. But I think we got this. The way
I kind of wish I would have been able to like insert it in earlier, but you three were on a fucking roll.
And this is the fight. I mean, this is the fight, and I hope people believe. I've said a lot of rotten shit about Alex lately. I don't think anything too hateful, but I don't think he did. He seemed to triple down on this. V, do you have anything to say on the way out, or?
Well, I don't know. If Alex, you're watching this back, please try and remember that what we're trying to do is give you advice and not attack you in any way. This isn't, nobody hates ImAllexx. I think we all just want to give you advice and help you handle the situation a little bit better.
I don't think I would have went after you, Alex, if you didn't double down. I gotta be perfectly honest with you, because I probably would have gave you the benefit of the doubt. I'll talk to Pig offline if I can. The thing is, the reason I showed I can't talk past 10 o'clock. I have to get that shit up. So I do apologize to Pig. And if he wants to debate this tomorrow, or if he wants to let this die, that's entirely up to him. I have open phone lines. If that's what he wants to do, he can talk to me offline. But this is it for me. I apologize, but I mean that's it. Aeon, before we out, what do you have to say?
I really did enjoy. You guys should, even if you aren't really aware of the entire Zaptie situation all the way, you really should watch V's 3 videos. The first one, he did such a good job explaining sociopathy, the diagnosis, and at the very end of it, once again, we should remember that it's the girls that, at the end of the day, are kind of the victims here. To where they were just being kind of idiots.
It's the girls are victims. Bionic Pig, if you're just going to call me and let him talk more, the only time I interrupted him is when he was going off. Let me tell you about Ed, and let me tell you what he did to this girl, and let me tell you what he did. I'm not interested in that, and that's not what he's here for, and it wouldn't have changed anything. The criticism was the way he handled it, not Zaptie. And I think we've clearly established, you guys have clearly established, that Zaptie has done some rotten shit. You guys railing about sociopathy, you guys acting like you knew what you're talking about. When to me, most adults would look at this kid needs help. He's fucking talking to girls on the internet. That's the way I interpreted it. I don't judge any of you guys for cutting ties from him in the sense that thank you very much. I don't they mention underage girls at what soup at 1736. Hey, Bionic Pig, how is that going to change? The fact that I interrupted him, how does it change that if that's true? Are you just going to come on and tell me that I should have let him talk more? Maybe, but I'm not going to let him spin out in other places. Sorry. The criticism was of him, not Zaptie, and that's what he wanted to talk about. That was the whole point of the tweet that aggravated me so much. You're going to be in trouble if you carry on like this. Well, I knew that wasn't true when I heard it. It's not me. I'm not under fire here. I didn't fuck up. If you want to call tomorrow, Pig, you got me in the DMs, and you're more than welcome to. And, guys, great job, and we are getting out of here. I've had it, and I'm sure everybody else has had it with the subject, too. Take it easy, everybody. See you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.
This is the almighty infinite, independent excellence. Devil fighting, rebel titan, weed smoking alchemist. Fake identities, okay, you cool with Jason Bourne. Running with these Wolverines, okay, you bout to catch a storm. I ain't never been a liar, got tired of niggas playing me. Head in my legs like she bout to catch a pedigree. Chi-town, the king's home, slapping fives, black stones. 6 mile to danger zones, bullets look like waffle cones. Folk affiliated to evolution of Machiavelli. Don't make me lead them eagles to you like I'm Chip Kelly. They feel my struggle, I express it through my hip hop. I'm about to make it hard to breathe, here's a headline.